What's up guys? Good morning. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Sean, and in today's video we're going to be starting a new patio. So not great access on this one, so it should be a little bit challenging. We got our stone loaded up last night so we can get a reasonably early start this morning. We'll have the excavator over there, possibly the skid steer, but unfortunately, whenever it's inside of a fence like we're about to have, it just makes it a little bit harder, but should be an interesting one. So I will see you guys at the job site. Okay, so we made it. Had a little bit of headaches already this morning, but always fun to deal with the surprises on the job. We have Ty up there digging out for the patio already. Looks like he found a decent stump. Have our section of fence down, and we just got the stone dumped over here in this auxiliary driveway. So I was hoping that we could bring the trailer up farther, but unfortunately we weren't able to get it up. It was just too heavy for the dirt and the little bit of gravel and concrete that's still here left over from the old right-of-way driveway. But got the stone dumped down there. I'm going to start bringing it up and getting it towards the patio here. So we'll get it out of the way, all the excess dirt going into this area. So I'm going to get this cleaned up a little bit, and yeah, we should be able to get something going here. Okay, well, that was pretty easy to clean up. So we have stone behind me there. We'll have to bring it through here. We can see our access come through the yard here. It's pretty dry. It's been pretty sunny and about 65 to 70 the last 3 days, so we should be okay getting up here, but there's still some dew on the grass. But we have a pretty straightforward patio, but we have our slope down here. So I think it was 40 feet this way, 10 feet off the house. And we'll probably have one step somewhere, almost like a tiered patio, just to make the grade work out. I mean, it would be nice to have one continuous one, but he didn't want to do all that fill down here. And then of course, having a 3-foot drop or 2.5-foot drop on this side is not really the ideal. And he's having some water issues on this higher side with all the standing water in the yard. So on the other side of the patio here, we'll have a French drain behind the patio, and then we'll just daylight it somewhere down here, wherever makes sense. But for the most part, we're basically just connecting to that old patio there, right up against the fence, and then straight shot. So it'll be good, little outdoor space for him. I think it'll make a lot more room, and looks like some really good dirt here. A couple rocks and stuff, but good topsoil at least. So I'm gonna shoot some grades for Ty, and we'll see if we can get this dug out. Okay, we are rolling now. So Ty has it pretty much all dug out. Got a little deep over here, deeper than we would want, so not a big deal, just a little bit more stone. We have to put a French drain in here anyway, so no big deal. So Ty's just working on bringing stone up, moving this pile of dirt and sod and rock and whatever else was over here. So my dad and I getting some forms in. So there's our back corner, and like I said, we're about 10 feet out from the house. So Ty's just gonna work on getting some stone in here, and we should be making some progress soon. So back to work here. Okay, well, Ty just went to go get some more stone. We used a little bit more than we expected to, since we dug that a little deep. We we probably have 3 or 4 inches of stone instead of 1 or 2, which is pretty typical. So probably about 2 more loads of stone in here by the time we're done, because we're pretty high through here, and then by the time we get down there it'll be a little bit more. So I guess this was an old porch, exposed porch before, because there's a really decent slope going out this way, probably about 3.5 inches from that right side to the left side. So we had to get a little bit unique here, and we have this point, which is 2 inches lower than this point, and then it should fall this way. We have a 4.5 inch drop from this point, maybe 4 inches or so actually. And then from this point, we have to come back downhill, because if not, we're gonna be 6 or 8 inches below this back corner. So we're basically doing the opposite slope as this patio. So a little bit downhill this way, a little bit of downhill this way, but all falling away from the house, which is good. And then of course we'll have this French drain right here along the side, so that'll catch any water that comes off of here. But yeah, definitely a unique setup here, but really it's the only thing we can do with how this comes down here to slope. Can't have this going uphill or anything like that. So as soon as Ty gets back, we'll have some more gravel to put in here. We have probably about 5 more tons of dirt to move down to the lower part of the yard here, and then it'll start to look like something. So once we get the stone in, we'll just have a wire down and tie in rebar, and we should be able to pour sometime next week, as long as the weather stays nice. But still trying to figure out what we're gonna do with that. I think we're gonna get the buggy, probably have the concrete truck down here on the edge of the driveway, and then just buggy it up this way. And yeah, seems like the best bet at this point, but I guess we'll see when the time comes. So we're gonna get back to it a little bit here with grade. They tighten these boards up a little bit, and then switch up the grade. Okay, so making progress. So we just got our 3rd load of stone. We actually made it up the little driveway this time. It's really dried out a lot since it's had the sun come out. So we have a couple pieces of pipe here. We're gonna try to get this downspout on and fixed up, because we had to lower it a little bit with how the steps are. And of course, had to go get a couple more pieces of pipe from the store. So my dad went to go do that. But Ty's here doing final grade, so let's catch up and see where he is. But once we get this last load of stone in, we should be good to go. So the plan is, we have our final board in right now here, and to match the grade of the yard here, rather than adding in all that extra fill, we're gonna drop it down 2 steps, so 2 8-inch steps. And then we'll have another little patio down here. So I was really hoping to get away with 1 step, but it's gonna have to be 2 with the grade here. It was just too much of a difference. So we'll get that going here. I'm gonna get that downspout cut and realigned, and we'll get this grade figured out. Okay, so a little bit later here, and we were able to get this graded out. It actually looks a lot better than what we expected. By the time we got ourselves down the correct grade, it really kind of evened out with how much dirt we had, so not too bad. Have our downspout temporarily in. We still have to adjust it a little bit, and we're basically just going to tie into this old downspout drain here, and then we'll tie the French drain into it as well, because that just daylights over the hill there. So we'll have a French drain running basically along this side of the patio to catch this massive hill up here with all the water that comes down, and we're going to run it along this side of the patio. And Ty's just working on getting on the other side of the fence here, because we just talked to the homeowner a little bit ago, and I guess a lot of water sits in this area too. So he wants to just put in an extra 10 feet or so here. So we will run this 10 feet out, tie in 90 over, and we should be good to go. So until my dad gets back and we can get the forms in, we're just gonna work on this French drain for a little bit, and as soon as my dad gets back, we'll be able to get some forms in and kind of see where we're at with grade, putting the rest of that stone in. Okay, well, we're back at it. Had to pack it up yesterday because we had some other stuff going on, but it's the next day, and Ty's just getting the dirt spread out, or the stone spread out here. We were able to get this drain tied in, the French drain with the old downspout drain, so that's daylight over the hill behind me. We now have our forms in up there. Luckily we were able to get away with one step. We just have a 2x8 down here to finish this grade here, so shouldn't be too bad to get this graded out. We're just gonna get this last form in and we should be good to go. So plenty of slope away from the house there, and then some decent slope coming this way, so shouldn't have any water issues here. But as soon as Ty gets this graded out, has the gravel out of the way, then we can get this last form in, and then we should be good to tie our rebar in, kind of clean up around here a little bit. But all in all, good day. Hopefully we're trying to beat the rain a little bit today, and maybe a pour next week depending on the weather. But of course that's always hard to tell around here this time of the year, because it seems like it's either rain a couple days in a row or it's just spotty showers all the time. So we'll get this graded out and go from there. Okay, well, that was pretty much it there. So we have our forms in. We did a quick overview. My dad got the holes drilled for our rebar so we can tie in, keep the slab from heaving. We have our French drain starting from way up there. He asked us to extend it about 10 feet into that part of the yard. Comes around this way, and instead of daylighting it like we were originally planning, we tied into the old downspout drain there so it can go over the hill. We were able to end up with one step, which is great, because that's just, steps are just such a pain. You know, more steps always is more work. So not only for us, but just walking up and down on your patio, you know, you want to have the least amount of steps as possible. So that worked out well. Got our other forms in here, so Ty's just bringing up the last of the stone, and we'll start cleaning up. But looking good. And yeah, hopefully pouring in the next few days, but yeah, it's kind of hard to tell with the weather. So we'll get this graded out and get the machines out of here. All right, well, how about that for some good timing? It is just starting to rain, a little bit of a sprinkle, so it wouldn't be too bad. But we are just finishing cleaning up here, kind of just spreading out that last bit of dirt that we had. I was cleaning that up. I was taking the tools down and getting those put away, but you know, really came out pretty nice here. So, you know, now they can, once we pull the forms, they can put a little bit of extra dirt up against there, kind of tidy it up a little bit, but for the most part, we don't do the actual landscaping. So just trying to use the rest of that dirt they had here, and you know, always throw some grass seed down, and it should really spring up pretty fast, you know, this time of the year. So I think that's pretty much going to do it for setup. We just have to load up the machines as soon as Ty finishes up here, and we are out of here. So appreciate you watching, and I'll see you on the next one.